Welcome one, welcome all. It's time for another exciting edition of, you guessed it, the show with no name on Vaughn Radio. Now get ready for
T-minus 10,
lift
9,
off.
8, 7,
Come on,
6,
blast off with me,
5,
folks.
4,
3, 2,
2, 1,
here we go.
0.
Oh, yeah.
Ignition.
Come on.
Lift off. Lift off.
Come on.
30 minutes after the hour.
Come on.
Get ready. Hold on to your hat. Strap on your seatbelt. Fasten your seatbelts. Hold on to your
And
hats.
get ready for the ride of your life.
The show with it's show with no name time on Vaughn Radio.
Hell yeah.
Show with no name.
Let's go. Welcome, welcome, show with no namers. It's great to have you on board, ready to rock and roll with us here on the show. Thank you. Thank you for your energy and your effort day after day, week after week. It's the show with no name here on Vaughn Radio. And hopefully you were tuned in to my buddy Fitz's program, No Excuses. It's an amazing program, a master class with our teacher trainer, Fitz. And you can catch it every day at 9:30 a.m. or whenever you get a chance. The good thing about podcasts, traditional TV and radio, I mean, does anybody rush home to go watch something when it's on? Okay, I don't mean a soccer game, un partido de fútbol, or, you know, like some kind of award show, unos premios or something. And even that, you know, people watch the highlights. So you can tune in to your favorite programs whenever you want. All you need is the Vaughn Radio app or to have a podcast platform such as iVox, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify. So this way you have, as Fitz's program is called, No Excuses. And you can learn with us day after day, week after week, month after month. Well, that's the way you learn, right?
Common mistake. Work like, work as. My students often say, I work like a manager. If it's your position, the correct form is, I work as a manager. Work like describes behavior. For example, I work like a slave. Work as describes your role. For example, I work as an engineer, or she works as a consultant. These distinctions are crucial in interviews and are exactly the kind of details we train in the Executive Master at Grupo Vaughan.
That's right, the Executive Master at Grupo Vaughn. If only if you want to master English. To master es llegar a dominar. And folks, I've seen it. I've seen people go into the master's program thinking, this person is not going to have too many job opportunities. Well, as far as English is concerned. And then I've seen them come out and land their dream job. I've seen it time after time with my friends, students. As you know, I know many teachers. One of my great friends, Layla Chapoy, she is one of the master's teachers. And man, now, it is not for the faint of heart. No es apto para cardíacos. If you're a little bit lazy, you like to kick back and relax, well, then the master's is not for you. The master's is like going to the military and really, really getting it perfectly. But we've got tons of other things too. Hey, if you're self-motivated, automotivado, you've got our online courses. You've got stuff for the kids too on the weekend, the Disney Vaughn English. Awesome, awesome stuff. I would take my daughter if she weren't fluent already. But my daughter at 6 years old is fluent. And you want to know how? You want to know why? The Vaughn method. Yeah, that's well. I'm her teacher. She also learns a little bit in school as well. But really, I've applied the same method that I've applied for my students who I've had for many, many years. So it works. That's what I'm getting at. I know it because 6 years it took. Because, okay, she might not understand everything, but then she tells me, Daddy, what's that? Oh, I don't know that one. So that's not, again, I'm still learning new words in English. No, I read an article. I'm like, esta palabra no me suena. Okay, vamos a ver. So it's only natural that she continues to learn English, but she's got enough English already to get by, to make friends. How do I know? Well, because she has English friends. She has American friends. And it's amazing when I see them together. Friends such as Andy Vaughn's kids, her daughters, and my daughter. When you see them speak in English, you would think that they were in the United States, not at Parque Warner in Spain. Just, if you were overhearing their conversation. So it works. That's what I'm getting at. Whether you do a self-study course or the hardcore masters, we've got something for everybody. And as you know, all you have to do is go to our website. It's grupovon.com, and you can find out everything you need to know about courses, materials, and all that jazz. Y todo el resto, todo lo que conlleva. All right, well, folks, let's rock and roll with today's Say What soundbite.
Say what?
Yes. That's right, folks. It's your Say What soundbite. Also, a quick reminder, if you'd like to practice your speaking, which I imagine you would, right? If you're a student who wants to learn English, well, speaking is kind of like one of the most important parts of any language. Yeah, speaking and understanding. You can't have one without the other, I had a student, she's like, well, I'm better at asking questions than answering them. I'm like, yeah, but unfortunately in life, sometimes you're asking the questions and sometimes you're answering them. That's the way it goes. So, amigos, this week's question of the week, and by the way, only one student has participated so far, so we're going to single her out. That is Anix. The early bird gets the worm. Anix, you got that worm this week. She sent it to me last week, guys. Before the weekend. And, well, that's the question. What do you usually do on the weekend? What's like a normal, typical weekend for you? I'm not talking, I go to a casa rural, I go to a country house with my friends. You don't do that every weekend. And if you do, take me with you. So what do you do on a typical average weekend? I hope study English is somewhere in there. And when I say study English, I don't mean you have to sit there with a book in your hands. Listen to a podcast, watch a movie or a series. That counts. Todo eso cuenta. So if you'd like to participate, you can send me a 1-minute audio, just like Anix has done. And you can send it to my email address, aalonso@grupovon.com. Again, it's aalonso@grupovon.com. Keep it at around a minute, introduce yourself, and then tell us what you do on an average weekend. Vamos a pronunciar esa palabra porque no es average, sino dos sílabas, porque nos comemos una. Average. Average. Eso es. What do you do on an average weekend? Y ese aje muchas veces es age, como puente, right? Language, average, bandage, vendaje, right? Make a list. This way you never say age again. Ahora, hay veces que es age, ¿no? Si hablamos de edad o rabia, rage. Pero cuando es terminación, muchísimas veces es ese age sonido, ¿ok? Por ejemplo, language, no es language, language, age. Yo sé que ves una A-E-G, pero luego eso no sale de nuestras bocas a la hora de decir esa terminación. All right, so these little tricks that can make pronouncing in English a little bit easier, because as we know, there's no hard, fast rule. You know, okay, E before I, yeah, except, right? So the English language, ahí lo tienes otra vez, is full of exceptions. But as soon as we accept that, lo aceptamos, lo acogemos, well, then it won't be as difficult. The problem is when you're like, ¿pero qué? Eso no suena así. Yeah, I'm like, okay, if you want, I can tell you 100 times, but that's just the way it works, you know? Things don't sound the way they look in English. Sadly, however, our grammar's much easier. If you want to use a verb in Spanish, you need to learn over 75 different words. That's right, to use one verb. Comer, comiera, comejimo. I don't even know them, no? Comen, comemos. ¿Qué pasa si comieras? You know, so again, it's your language is a mind fuck, as we say, ¿no? Te jode la mente, te explota la mente. So we know that, and we say, okay, pues al menos, mira, la gramática en inglés es bastante fácil. Puedes usar un verbo con conocer 4 formas del verbo, right? Vamos a coger uno irregular. You've got go, went, and gone. Y también goes, así te he dicho 4, la S, pero ¿eso cuenta como otro o es añadir una S realmente? Right? Tampoco es, espera, tengo que pensarlo. No, añades una S, right? Take, took, taken. Y takes sería la cuarta. And that's it. You're not going to see any other variations of that very common verb. So we focus on the things that make the language easier, and we work harder on the things that are a little bit more complicated. And at least this way, we know where to concentrate our efforts. All right, so I hope you'll all participate. It's an opportunity for you to speak every week. And again, I don't know any students that don't need this opportunity. In fact, most of the time students say, I listen every day, I practice every day, but then I don't have anybody to speak with. Well, now you do. Even if it's just a minute, and you'll get feedback, which is the key, because that's the other problem. You're like, okay, well, I'll just have conversations with myself. But then there's just one problem there. You don't know if you're saying it correctly, if the intonation is correctly said. And so in this case, it's good to have somebody say, no así, sino asa. No, por ejemplo, si dices language, ¿quién te va a decir si tú no sabes qué es language? So this is a great golden opportunity, and I hope you'll all make the most of it. We look forward to hearing from you as always, and we'll be taking a look at that on Thursday. So if you want to participate, send me your 1-minute audio clip before the end of the day on Wednesday. All right, now we're going to listen to somebody else speaking. None of our students here. This is a famous person, and I want you guys to break it down. Averiarlo, bueno, to break down es averiar, pero también to break down es desglosar. Okay, I want you to break it down and give me a synopsis of what you heard in your best English. And hopefully, before the end of the show and after the 4th listen, somebody will be able to get it word for word. Are you ready? Here's your Say What soundbite for the first time.
Listen, I did everything wrong with us. I should have told you about Chris. And this war with my father has been going on for 4 years, and it's finally out of control.
Alberto, estoy leyendo un cómic y me estoy dando cuenta de que todas las onomatopeyas que salen son verbos en inglés.
Of course, man. We love making it easy.
Por ejemplo, aquí pone chomp y está un animal masticando.
Sure, to chomp.
Es mascar, ¿no?
Sí, mascar. Y lo haces con tus piños. You're chompers.
Ah, chompers es los piños grandotes, ¿no? Vale, y to click, por ejemplo.
To click. Well, to click is what you do on a computer. You click. Pinchar.
Perfecto, pinchas con el ratón. Claro, tiene sentido. To gulp.
Well, before I was gulping my soda. Gulp, 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 gulp.
Claro, estás tragando como un pato.
Eso es, no es lo mismo que sip.
Bien. To thump.
Thump. Don't thump your fist on the table. No des un pum, pum en la mesa.
De hecho, el conejito de Bambi se llamaba Thumper.
Eso es, todo tiene sentido en inglés.
Claro que sí, por eso hemos hecho el tercer libro de This Book is the Milk, que se llama This Book is the Shit. Este libro es la leche. Por Alberto Alonso
y Damián Moya.
Así da gusto aprender, y lo sabes.
And you know it. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Yeah. Let's go. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. That's right, amigos. It is our pop quiz. And today we're not taking a look at any of my books, but just so you know, I imagine many of you do. I've got 5 books. 5. I'm going to need another hand soon. And you can pick them all up at Von Tienda. In fact, I've got some here right next to me. I've got English Everywhere right in my hand. This is 40 different situations in English with audio. Then I've got the trilogy. This book is the milk. This book is the milk too. And this book is the shit. And then I've got a book that teaches you how to approach English. I look at it like the way I've learned so many different words in Spanish, Italian, French, and it's just traveling, but paying attention when you're traveling, right? Not just like looking through the window of a tour bus, but saying, ¿y este señal qué significa? ¿Y esto qué tal? And listening and using the 5 senses to learn the language. And I think that's an adventure. Eso se llama aventura, right? When you're learning English on the go. So you have got, as I said, you've got 5 books penned by me. Pen, ¿sabéis la palabra bolígrafo? Pues penned es escrito por, penned by me. And then you've got tons of other amazing books penned by my amigos. Today, we're going to take a look at Speak English B2, okay? And this is from a collection, in fact. So if you want the whole collection, we've got Speak English A1 / A2, que eso es un material que tiene A1 y A2 en el mismo material. Then you've got Speak English B1. And then lastly, you've got Speak English B2, which is the one I've chosen for you folks because I know you're English superstars. So as always, we're going to have a little listen here, and I'm going to ask you some questions. In this material, you'll find phrasal verbs, vocabulary, pronunciation, grammar, expressions, common mistakes, and so much more. So listen carefully.
20. Grammar. To get someone to do something.
Conseguí que mi hermano hiciera mis deberes.
I got my brother to do my homework.
Ella consiguió que sus padres le compraran un portátil.
She got her parents to buy her a laptop.
El ayuntamiento consiguió que la empresa de limpieza se ocupara de la basura.
The local council got the cleaning company to handle the rubbish.
¿Conseguiste que Dani te mandara los documentos?
Did you get Danny to send you the documents?
¿Conseguiste que tu hermana te prestara el dinero?
Did you get your sister to lend you the money?
Finalmente conseguí que Brian me llevara al aeropuerto.
I eventually got Brian to drive me to the airport.
Si consigues que acepten la oferta, mereces una subida de sueldo.
If you get them to accept the offer, you deserve a raise.
Conseguí que ella cambiara de opinión.
I got her to change her mind.
¿Cómo conseguiste que él cambiara de opinión?
How did you get him to change his mind?
Conseguí que los niños fregaran los platos al final.
I got the kids to do the washing up in the end.
Estoy muy ocupado. ¿No puedes conseguir que otra persona lo haga?
I'm really busy. Can't you get someone else to do it?
No estoy seguro de que consigas que él te escuche.
I'm not sure you'll get him to listen to you.
No creo que consigas que te den un descuento.
I don't think you'll get them to give you a discount.
Él consiguió que cantaran delante del jurado.
He got them to sing in front of the judges.
Haré que se encarguen ellos.
I'll get them to take care of it.
Nunca conseguirás que ella se disculpe por escrito.
You'll never get her to apologize in writing.
Finalmente conseguí que Ben hiciera el discurso inaugural.
I eventually got Ben to give the opening speech.
Finalmente conseguimos que volvieran a hacerlo.
We eventually got them to do it again.
Nunca conseguirás que acepten el acuerdo.
You'll never get them to accept the deal.
Finalmente ella consiguió que su amigo traduzca su currículo.
She eventually got her friend to translate her CV. Test yourself.
Ella consiguió que él hiciera todos sus deberes anoche.
She got him to do all his homework last night.
¿Conseguiste que firmaran el contrato?
Did you get them to sign the contract?
Mark está ocupado, así que conseguiré que lo haga otra persona.
Mark is busy, so I'll get someone else to do it.
Nunca conseguiremos que él acepte la oferta.
We'll never get him to accept the offer.
Si ella consigue que Tim cambie de opinión, merece una subida de sueldo.
If she gets Tim to change his mind, she deserves a raise.
Conseguí que Sarah se encargase de las bebidas.
I got Sarah to take care of the drinks.
Finalmente conseguimos que ella escuchara a los médicos.
We eventually got her to listen to the doctors.
21. Grammar. To get something done. To have something done.
La semana pasada me arreglaron el coche.
Last week, I got my car fixed.
Me corté el pelo ayer.
I got my hair cut yesterday.
Me revisarán la vista mañana.
I'll get my eyes checked tomorrow.
Nos tienen que pintar la casa.
We have to get our house painted.
¿Dónde te haces las uñas?
Where do you get your nails done?
Me van a hacer las uñas para la boda.
I'm going to get my nails done for the wedding.
¿Te vas a cortar también el pelo?
Are you going to get your hair cut as well?
Siempre me corta el pelo Josie.
I always get my hair cut by Josie.
El mes pasado me arreglaron la bici.
Last month, I got my bike fixed.
¿Dónde te la arreglaron?
Where did you get it fixed?
Mi médico me dijo que me quitara este lunar.
My doctor told me to get this mole removed.
Tenemos que hacer que ambas partes firmen el contrato.
We need to get the contract signed by both parties.
Tengo que terminarlo para el viernes.
I need to get it done by Friday.
No conseguí terminarlo a tiempo.
I couldn't get it done in time.
¿Terminaste el informe a tiempo?
Did you get the report done in time?
Me revisan la vista cada 3 años.
I have my eyes checked every 3 years.
A mis vecinos les están reformando el baño.
My neighbors are having their bathroom renovated.
Necesitamos que nos arreglen el coche.
We need to have our car fixed.
A él le limpian las camisas en la tintorería.
He has his shirts cleaned at the dry cleaners.
Para la boda, ella le encargará a un estilista que la peine.
For the wedding, she'll have her hair done by a stylist. Test yourself.
Me revisaron la vista el mes pasado.
I got my eyes checked last month.
¿Cuándo te van a reformar la cocina?
When are you going to get the kitchen renovated?
Me tienen que quitar este lunar.
I have to get this mole removed.
Al final no nos pintaron la casa.
We didn't get the house painted in the end.
Él le encargó a un estilista que le cortara el pelo.
He got his hair cut by a stylist.
Me arreglarán la ducha la semana que viene.
I'll get the shower fixed next week.
Terminamos todo antes de que mis padres llegasen a casa.
We got everything done before my parents got home.
All right, folks, we almost didn't get everything done there because we've got to get to a quick commercial break. Time is just flying by. When we come back, we're going to put you to the test in our pop quiz. We've also got our Say What soundbite for the second time. We've got news, we've got music, movies, jokes, and so much more up ahead. So stick around. Welcome back, folks. Welcome back. This is part 2 of today's show with No Name on Vaughn Radio. Don't forget to tune into all the amazing programs here on Vaughn Radio. You've got The Provo Show with Rob Grams. No Excuses with Fitz. You've also got Speaking with Confidence with Ale. Speak English with Ruby. Let's Get Random with Jules Linares. You've got Richard Vaughn Live. The Lunchtime Show with Rob Grams. The Salad with Dave Boyce. Kyle Miller's Drive Time. Chris Frank and Frankly Speaking. Jessica Fernandez and the Hour to Empower. And all of these English classes are free. That's right. Hey, that's a good word, free. Not much is free these days. Another way to say free is complimentary. Right? We'll give you a complimentary consultation. Well, hey, speaking of, if you want to get a level test, you can get your complimentary level test by going over to grupovaughn.com and hitting Contáctanos. Or you can reach out on any of our social media channels. That's Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and I don't know which other ones. But I think they're everywhere. And we also have a newsletter. So lots of ways to reach out. Plus, we do have phones, too. If you're still into making traditional phone calls, someone will be more than happy to pick up the phone and chat with you. So, you have no excuses if information is what you're looking for. Reach out. Contacta con nosotros. We'd love to hear from you and, well, guide you in the right direction. Guiaros por buen camino. That's what we do. A eso nos dedicamos. All right, my amigos, tons and tons of stuff to cover. So we're going to get moving here in the second part of the show. Let me give you what I want from you first in our pop quiz. Okay, we've got a couple different things. Remember, we'll review some of the most important stuff, but usually what I do here is I pick things that I think you need to know. Escojo cosas que digo, deberían saber esto. So the first one, they repeated this structure a lot, so you should know it, even if you didn't know it before today's show, and you can use the example that makes sense to you. In fact, I always urge you to do that. Conseguir que alguien haga algo. Hey, use he conseguido que me reparen el coche. He conseguido, right? So here you can be creative. Use one that makes sense in your head. Maybe use one you'd actually use. And this way you're practicing practical English. All right, so conseguir que alguien haga algo es la primera estructura que estamos viendo. The next one, I want you to use two different verbs here. Okay, because, well, they're often used sometimes interchangeably, but not exactly because the structure isn't the same. I'm talking about prestar and tomar prestado. Okay, because you can say the same question, ¿me prestas eso? O ¿puedo tomar prestado tal cosa? That's up to you. Use it however you like. The two words we're looking for are prestar and tomar prestado. Think about it in a context where you would actually use it and where it makes sense to you. And the last one is cambiar de opinión. It happens a lot. We do it as humans, right? It's human nature. A veces dices, voy a hacer esto. Dices, ¿sabes algo? Cambié de opinión. Okay, now you can say I changed my opinion, but it's not very natural. It wouldn't be a natural way to say that. And we're always looking for that natural, that totally native English that makes us stand out, destacar. So number one, conseguir que alguien haga algo es la estructura. Número dos, prestar versus tomar prestado. Y la tercera, cambiar de opinión. Again, you can use just random examples, or you can think, ¿cómo yo usaría esto? O ¿cuál fue la última vez que yo cambié de opinión? Y así le estás dando una practicalidad, right? A practicality to it, where you're saying, pues esto es una frase que realmente yo diría o he dicho en algún pasado. All right, those are your challenges in today's pop quiz. Again, those are coming from one of our materials called Speak English B2, which you can get at Von Tienda. It's $15.75, and it comes with audio, as we just heard, and I highly recommend it. Unless you're a lower level, then I would recommend the Speak English A1, A2, or Speak English B1. But for you folks, if you're listening, if you're keeping up with me, if you're participating in this show, I'd say you're pretty close to a B2 because, as you can see, I don't even really stop to take breaths. No paro para respirar. That's my personality, you know? Well, you will hear some English teachers that talk like this. I don't. I can't. It's not in me. I just talk a mile a minute. And that was even a conversation I had with Richard Vaughn when I first started working on Vaughn Radio. He goes, "You speak too fast." I go, "Well, that's great for them." Then I'm not going to be babying them. He's like, "You got to slow down." I'm like, "What does that mean?" I don't know the meaning of the word slow down. So in a way, okay, maybe you have a little more trouble understanding me compared to other English teachers. But again, that's my personality. And you're going to meet a lot of people who speak as fast as I do or even faster out there. So let's just say I'm preparing you for the real world. And speaking of preparing you for the real world, well, you're going to come across a lot of different accents, a lot of different situations. And that's our Say What soundbite. So we've already heard it once. I think it's an easy one today, but we shall see. Is everybody ready? Here's your Say What soundbite for the second time.
Listen, I did everything wrong with us. I should have told you about Chris. And this war with my father has been going on for 4 years, and it's finally out of control.
Hey, Damian, what's crack-a-lackin', buddy?
Hey, Alberto, I was planning to do some sports this week. What about playing baseball?
Ooh, baseball. I love it. But I'm not sure yet. Can we touch base next week?
Touch base. Estamos en contacto, ¿no? Hablamos en algún momento. Yeah, okay. Let's touch base. Okay, what about basketball? Do you want to play basketball?
Oh, man, I love basketball. It's one of my favorite sports. But I don't know if I can this weekend Because I've already got plans. Oh, man, that's the way the ball bounces.
That's the way the ball bounces. Así están las cosas, ¿no? Así bota la pelota. Así bota la pelota. That's the way the ball bounces. I love that expression. Okay, what about tennis? Do you want to play tennis?
Well, I love tennis, but I'm not really a good player. If you don't mind playing with a novice, the ball's in your court, buddy.
La bola está en mi campo, ¿eh? La pelota está en mi tejado. All right. Do you want to play some soccer?
Sure, I'd love to play some soccer or football, as you call it. What time do we kick off?
Perfect. We're kicking off at 9. Are you available?
Sure, but I might have to play some golf before with some friends. It's par for the course.
It's par for the course. Es lo normal, ¿no? Es lo normalito, lo que se hace.
Mhm.
Okay, what about billiards? Do you like playing billiards?
Yeah, but right now I'm behind the 8 ball.
I'm behind the 8 ball. Estás detrás de la bola de 8, como que llevas las de perder.
Yeah, wow, a lot of idiomatic expressions here.
Muy buenas expresiones. Si es que así da gusto aprender inglés con un profe como Alberto y un poquito de creatividad, tienes This Book is the Shit. El mejor libro para aprender inglés que te has echado a la cara in your life. Píllatelo, vas a disfrutar mogollón de dibujos para que lo aprendas todo fácil, con conexiones lógicas y divertidas. Es la manera más sencilla y más divertida de aprender inglés. No te la pierdas.
Damián, you're such a good sport. Te enrollas. You can pick up your copy of This Book is the Shit at
Vaughantienda.com.
It's the shit. That's right. Es la leche, as you say. This book is the shit. You can pick it up at Vaughan Tienda, Casa del Libro, Amazon, or wherever fine books are sold. But today we're taking a look at a book that I didn't write, but I vouch for it. Pongo la mano en el fuego. I'm talking about Speak English B2. Eso es Speak English B2. It is an amazing material. And, well, let's highlight a couple things, and then we'll check your answers. A couple things I wanted to highlight there. Rubbish. Now, Americans say that word, but not too often. What do we say instead of rubbish? Trash or garbage. Again, the word exists, but 9 times out of 10, Americans will say trash or garbage. Mira, tenemos otro aje ahí, garbage, right? That language is garbage, ¿no? Ij es el sonido aje. Also junk, esto lo conocemos de email, ¿no? Your junk mailbox. De hecho, de ahí viene la palabra junkie. You say yonky, but for us, viene de la palabra junk. Junk is a synonym for heroin. And so if you're on junk, basura, que I'll take your word for it. I've never tried it, nor will I, but I imagine it's junk just seeing what it does to people. So junk, trash, rubbish, garbage. But rubbish is also the British way to say it. All right. Also, we looked at the word deserve. That's right. To deserve something, right? You deserve it. Te lo mereces. She deserves it. Se lo merece. We also looked at raise and rise. We've looked at those words before here on the show. Now, the difference is something rises by itself. You have to act on something to raise it. So the difference, the sun rises. Nobody's doing anything. Nobody's touching it. It rises by itself. Now, if I'm going to make a toast, hacer un brindis, I'll say, raise your glass. Tú tienes que hacerlo, right? It has to be acted upon. Raise versus rise. Now, in British English, though, there is a place where the two of them overlap, solapan, and that is un incremento. What does that mean? So to ask for a rise is inglés británico, and to ask for a raise is inglés americano. We also heard that word eventually there. You know how often we use that word? Well, eventually, a la larga, no, al final, you'll have to start using it if you want to sound native. Eventually. La TU is ch. Eventually. Another confusing one we looked at there, I've seen students mix this one up. Sign and signature. Can I have your sign? No. Eso es mi letrero, right? Sign es verbo o como firmar o letrero si es sustantivo. But if not, we say signature. Your signature. Otra vez este ch sound. So your signature. In American English, we call it your John Hancock, right? That's a very totally native way to say it. Your John Hancock. Why? In the Declaration of Independence, he had the flashiest signature. Supposedly. That's the way the story goes. So, and be careful too, because I've heard students say, I want to sing. And I say, okay, canta. O sea, es al revés. Es G-N en vez de N-G. Okay. Also, we looked at the word busy. Busy is the one we use for people, pero ¿qué sí queremos decir? Ha sido una semana ocupada, ajetreada. You can say it's been a busy week, but also hectic. La única diferencia es que no usamos hectic para personas. Es más situaciones, ciudades, right? Algún evento. It was very hectic. So be careful with those, even though they are synonyms, they don't overlap, otra vez esta palabra, solapar, completely. We also looked at another mistake that's very common, and I get it, because in Spanish you say, me voy a cortar el pelo, pero técnicamente lo vas a hacer tú. Claro que no. Hombre, no lo recomiendo, right? So you get a haircut. He got a haircut. I need to get a haircut. I need to get my nails done. También se puede decir, I need to get my hair done. I need to get my nails done. Okay? So, hacer que se haga algo. We looked at the word lunar. The word lunar exists in English. Lunar, que se escribe igual, pero tiene que ver con la luna, right? The lunar module landed on time. Pero lunar en la piel, we say a mole, o, si queremos ser más poéticos, a beauty mark. A beauty mark. They also talked about getting your eyes checked. It reminded me of 2020. You know this one? 2020. It means visión perfecta. 2020 in each eye. Y tenemos la expresión, hindsight is always 2020. Mirando hacia atrás, las cosas siempre están clarísimas. Es cuando estamos en ello que no lo vemos. So, buenísima expresión, ¿no? Hindsight is always 2020. Siempre tienes la visión perfecta mirando hacia atrás, right? What else? Well, those are just a couple things I wanted to highlight. I thought were worth mentioning, worth bringing up. All right, let's go on over to our chat room and see who's with us, ready to learn and laugh and play today. There's Born to Iron Man. He says, good morning, buddies. What's shacking? What's up, Born to Iron Man? Great to have you on board. He says, let's get the ball rolling. Oh, yeah, rolling. We'll keep rolling. Let's get that ball rolling. Absolutely. Great to have you here with us. And I know you are ready to rock. There's no doubt in my mind. Now, I am still expecting your question of the week because you've been on a roll. Estás en racha, amigos, so don't let me down. Well, also, there's Chris Valrol, a student who never lets us down. She's awesome. And she says, morning show with no namers. Another fantastic day here with you all. No doubt about it. And with that attitude, you have no other choice. You're gonna have a fantastic day now because you already said it. So it's going to materialize. The power of positive thinking. It's true. Have you ever noticed that when people are negative, a lot of bad things seem to happen to them all the time? Maybe you're like welcoming them, you know? And if you're thinking positive, even when you're not having a bad day, which we all do, usually, well, the next day is a little bit better or a lot better. But if you're like, what a shitty day, well, guess what? You've already predetermined it. You've already programmed your mind that way. So the same way these positive thoughts can be contagious, well, same with negative thoughts. In fact, I think negative thoughts can be even more contagious. There are times when I've met up with people and I'm like, oh my God, that was overwhelming. Vaya negatividad, me acaba de dejar, wow. You know, so That sometimes affects you even more than somebody being positive, especially if you're a positive person and you're not used to a lot of negativity. So is the glass half full or half empty? I know in Chris's case, I know the answer clearly. She shows us every day, not just with her words, but her actions as well. Speaking of her actions, she's participating in our Say What soundbite. Let's see what she heard. She says, I heard an American woman, and she told someone she had done everything wrong regarding them. She rues things she shouldn't have said. Palabrón. To rue, to regret, arrepentirse, right? She rues things that she shouldn't have said. And she also mentioned her father and something that was already under control. Okay. Nope, not under. Ahora. O sea, el inverso. But yes, the word control. Y fijaos, cuando lo escuchamos la próxima vez, no dice out of, sino ahora. Get out of here. You're out of control. So, and it's finally out of control. O sea, al revés, Chris, but you got the main idea. Great job. Let's see. Born to Iron Man's participating in our pop quiz. And he says, finally, my wife got the painter to paint the apartment. Great. So you're getting the apartment painted. Great. Excellent. Don't inhale the fumes, los vapores. Number 2, he says, can you lend me some money? I got to have some to lend it to you. So excellent. Can you lend me some money? I need to borrow your bicycle. Very good. So we lend money to somebody, and if we lend it, they borrow it from us. So, muy importante, to lend something to someone, to borrow something from someone. Okay? Y podemos hacer la misma pregunta. Can you lend me your pen? O cambiamos el sujeto. Can I borrow your pen? Okay? Both of them are correct, just two different ways to say it. So we don't want to mix it up. Now, borrowed is a regular verb. Empleamos el ed, borrowed, sonido de. Lend is irregular, just like the verb send. So every day I send emails. Yesterday I sent, pues igual. Every day I lend my daughter money. Yesterday I lent her money. And lately I've lent her money. So yes, can you lend me some money? I wish I could, Born to Iron Man. And then he says, I need to borrow your bicycle. And then the next one, he says, wait a second. I have second thoughts. I don't need your bicycle anymore. Great. To have second thoughts is a totally native way of saying, cambiar de opinión. I'm having second thoughts. Wow, great job. Born to Iron Man. And you sound great. No mistakes in there, and it sounds like a true native. Let's see. Speaking of true natives, we've got Chris Valrol. She's also participating in today's pop quiz. Again, it's from Speak English B2. And Chris says he managed to get their attention. Excellent. To manage to conseguir que alguien haga algo. He managed. Mira, otra que es age, manage. No es manage, manage. Did you manage to learn the language? Vamos a decirlo. Did you manage to learn the language? Age. Muy bien. He managed to get their attention. The next one. Can you lend me the pen? Can I borrow the scissors? Very good. And she says, the last time I changed my mind was just yesterday. See, didn't I say it's human nature to change your mind? So yes, to have second thoughts es dudar, to change your mind, cambiar de opinión. Again, I don't think change your opinion is wrong because they're words, they make sense together, but it wouldn't be the most natural way to say it. So I changed my mind. ¿Queréis saber algo gracioso? When I first moved to Spain, you know what I used to say? cambié mi mente. Yeah, I swear to God. Ahora, es cambiar mi mente. I think that's not used in Spanish, right? O sea, que yo me equivocaba, decía la traducción literal, decía, cambié mi mente. Y luego, claro, poco a poco, yo no sé si alguien me corrigió o poco a poco empecé a oír, cambié de opinión. I'm like, okay, so no dicen cambiar de mente. And as we know, folks, a lot of the biggest mistakes, I mean, the big ones, the ones that are repeated over and over and over every day by students everywhere, are the literal translations. I mean, I notice it with my daughter. A veces, Daddy, I have 6. I'm like, you have 6 what? And then she goes, oh, I am 6. I was like, claro. She goes, oh, I didn't. I said, I know why. And then I explain it to her. I go, claro, en español tienes 6 años, pero en inglés eres 6 años. Y queréis saber otra cosa. Antes de joven decía, yo soy 7. Te lo juro. So this is why also, too, I feel your pain because I've been there. But the other way around, al revés. Folks, we have got to go to a quick commercial break right now. I can't believe it. We are halfway through the show. We've got a lot of stuff to cover in the second half of the show. We're going to kick things off with our homophones. We've also got our Say What soundbite for the second time. After that, we are going to take a look at, let's see what we got here. Oh, wow, yeah. We've got, wacky world records, spelling bee, news report. I don't know if we're going to have time for all this stuff because we've got famous birthdays, name that lyric. All right, well, we're going to get done as much as we possibly can when we get back from this quick commercial break. So, if I were y'all, you all, es vosotros, en inglés americano, if I were y'all, I wouldn't even think of going anywhere. Stick around. Welcome back, amigos. Welcome back. This is, I can't believe it, the third part of today's show with no name. Time really flies by. So thank you. Thank you for making my mornings fly by, and I hope I do the same for you. I love spending time with my amigos. I feel like the luckiest guy in the world. Seriously. My daughter was saying, Daddy, do you like to work? And I said, well, nobody likes to work. I mean, we'd rather be, doing sports, lying by the pool. But I said, but I'm really lucky because I love the people I work with. And you know who those people are? I'm not talking about the executive committee at Vaughn, okay? Thankfully, I don't deal with that stuff. That's people with suits. I'm talking about you guys. You guys are the ones I work with. I always say I'm not judged by the executives. I'm judged by an even higher power. You guys, the ones who, everybody is working for in this company or any company. The customers. In our case, the students. I hate the word customers, but it is a business. So I answer to a higher power than any executive committee. Well, we know that. CEOs come and go. Marketing, all those people come and go. It's you guys that count. At least for me. That's my philosophy. I'm not trying to impress anybody except you guys. And I hope I am. All right, well, folks, we've got a lot to do, so let's kick things off with today's Homophones on the Show with No Name.
Homophones on the show with no name. It's homophones time, cause homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the show with no name. The show with no name. Homophones on the show with no name. Cause homophones time, cause homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the show with no name. The show with no name. The show with homophones. Show with no name.
All right, let's take a look at our homophones here or not. I'm going to give you 2 words. We'll see if A, you're familiar with the words, and B, if you know the way they sound. The first word is a synonym for slippery. Slippery, resbaladizo, escurridizo. Okay. It also means hábil o suave. Muy hábil. Me he visto tu movimiento ahí, muy suave. It's also grasoso, pringoso, aceitoso. Okay. A veces, si lo decimos hablando de pelo, es engominado, ¿no? Con mucha gomina. Okay. And yeah, if you're profesional, hábil, okay, logrado, impecable. All right. And we'll look at it. As I said, we'll take a look at it more in context. Si lo ponemos con petróleo, oil, pues es fuga de petróleo. Okay? So obviously it's got a link to slippery, to oil, right? This kind of stuff. But also it's got a link to somebody who does something with that's well executed, right? Something that is practiced. You can tell that they know what they're doing. All right. Hey, that's you guys. All right. So that is our first word. Resbaladizo, hábil, grasoso o aceitoso, engominado, habilidoso, profesional o hábil, logrado, impecable. Great word. All right. And the second word, I always think of like a nice restaurant or a nice club, una discoteca, un restaurante de moda. And that word is elegante. Elegante. Now, it can also be liso as well. Liso, brillante. Si hablamos de pelo, we were talking about getting a haircut before. But if you think about it, liso, brillante, pues si tienes el pelo así, vas elegante, right? It looks nice. So a lot of times we talk about something that is well designed, right? Si es una persona acicalado, arreglado, pulcro, okay? Pulido. So, algo que está, no, que queda bien, queda elegante. Se nota que está currado. All right, those are your 2 words. We'll see if you're familiar with them. I think they're tough words today. No son palabras que diría, que oiría un alumno usar en ninguno de los 2 casos. A veces uno sí y el otro no. Hoy, si lo pienso, I can't imagine students using the words. But hey, after this section, maybe you'll have some new words in your arsenal. All right, those are your 2 words. What are they? And do they sound exactly the same or not? All right, let me also give you the Say What soundbite. I'm going to give it to you now for the 3rd time, and hopefully somebody will be able to give it to us word for word. Here goes.
Listen, I did everything wrong with us. I should have told you about Chris. And this war with my father has been going on for 4 years, and it's finally out of control.
Listen carefully. Can you hear that? No. Listen closer. I'm not talking about the birds chirping. I'm talking about everybody speaking English and feeling comfortable. Listen. This is what it's like at Vaughntown, a peaceful place where you can really learn English and lose your inhibitions. There's a reason it's one of our star programs. Vaughntown, lose your fear of speaking English. If you want more information about this immersive experience, go to grupovon.com or give us a call, 911-385831. Lose your fear of speaking English and express yourself with clarity at Vaughntown. That's right, folks. Vaughntown. If you want to learn more about Vaughntown or any of our initiatives, you can go to our website. It's grupovon.com, or you can also reach out via one of our social media channels. Now, that word via, we can also say via. Que sepas, es uno de estos que vale los dos, ¿no? Data and data es otra, ¿no? Los datos. I need more data. I need more data. Vase and vase, florero. Again, these are words that have two acceptable pronunciations. And I think in all of those cases, it's not like a British American thing. It's, otro, aunt and aunt. I've heard a lot of people say, I'm going to visit my aunt this weekend. But even in the States, I'm going to go see my aunt. And, well, I would naturally say aunt. So we have words like that, since there are so many English speakers out there in the world, that kind of have two acceptable pronunciations. Now, it might be in some regions you use one, in other regions you use another one, but in general, they're both widely accepted. All right, let's go on over to our chat room over here. We've got Born to Iron Man. He gives us the two correct words, and he says they don't sound alike. Chris Valrol, she gives us the two words as well. Correct, excellent. And she says they're not homophones, I'd say. All right, well, let's take a look at the first word. The first word, and I want you to say it with me, slick. Slick. It rhymes with lick. It rhymes with stick. It rhymes with pick. It rhymes with brick. Okay, ick, I. That's the vowel sound. So let's look at the different examples. Okay, Tara slipped on the slick ice. Resbaladizo. The slippery, menos sílabas, slick. Slick. The next one. With a slick movement, the goalkeeper caught the ball. Hábil. Wow, that was slick. Suave. No? Hábil. Also, after her run, she was slick with sweat. Pringosa, aceitosa, slick. His hair, muchas veces decimos si lo echas para atrás, like the grease look, your hair is slicked back. No, eso ya es el phrasal verb. Do you slick your hair back? Because your hair looks pretty slick, engominado. Okay? Glenn is a slick salesman, profesional, hábil. No, tiene tablas. The company is very slick at advertising, hábil, profesional, right? Also, we said the producers had put together a really slick show. Logrado, impecable. Okay? And then we said an oil slick, that is fuga de petróleo, an oil slick. So slick. De hecho, a veces lo decimos hasta irónicamente, ¿no? Sarcastically. So alguien, vamos a decir, están andando y se le cae el vaso y dices, oh, slick, muy habilidoso, ¿no? So again, it's got that, you'll know, hey, slick, ¿no? A veces lo decimos así como un poco de ironía. Tongue and cheek, as we say. Okay, so that's the first word, slick. Again, let's say it all together. Slick rhymes with stick, rhymes with brick, rhymes with lick. And the second word, sleek. Voy a decir las dos juntas. Slick, sleek. Slick, sleek. Do they sound the same? Nope. Sleek rhymes with peak. Una miradita rápida. Sleek rhymes with reek. Oler. Muy mal. Man, really sleek. Okay? Sleek. Sleek is that second word. And again, we use it to talk about a nice, well-designed place. Ooh, that new restaurant is really sleek, right? Pero si lo piensas, una persona bien arreglada con todo en su sitio, it kind of is the same idea behind it, right? The restaurant is sleek. Todo parece que va acicalado, arreglado, ¿no? En su sitio. Pues lo mismo una persona. Oh, you look really sleek today, which is a little bit different than looking slick. So, sleek. There you go, my amigos. Wonderful job to our superstars. Born to Iron Man. And Chris Valrol. All right, let's see. Born to Iron Man, better late than never. He's participating in our Say What soundbite. And he says, in addition to Chris's comment, that woman was speaking to someone called, te falta ede ahí, Chris, and she talks referring to a mistake made by her, okay, due to not speaking to her father for 4 years. Okay, te corrijo ahí. Due to not speaking to her father 4 years. Se llama Chris? Let's see. With the person. Yes, the person's name is Chris. Good. All right. All right. Just be careful. A couple little adjustments. Unos ajustes ahí que teníamos que retocar. All right, folks. It's time for today's news report.
This is the news report on the show with no name, bringing you the latest breaking news. I'm Alberto Alonso, reporting live.
That's right, folks. Live. We are reporting live on the news, and we're going to talk about Iran. No, I'm joking. We're not talking about. Sorry. If it's on mainstream news, you won't hear it here. You've got mainstream news for that. I wouldn't trust them because they all have their interests, right? But here we tell you wacky news. I call this story hairy situation. Hairy, peludo? Yeah, but also hairy can mean difficult. It's a double trouble. We had a bit of a hairy situation. Hey, we were looking at the word slick before with hair. We're looking at haircuts. Well, folks, a restaurant has warned other restaurants in the area that there is a diner is un comensal, who is allegedly planting hairs at local restaurants. Eso es, poniendo un pelo suyo en el plato, and this is to dodge the bill, esquivar la cuenta. Remember, we don't call it the ticket. May we have the bill? May we have the check? A ticket es un billete, right? O una entrada. Pero no es el ticket de compra. That would be a receipt. De hecho, in a restaurant, it's a check or a bill. But if I just bought some clothes, I want a receipt. Tiene una P totalmente muda. No es receipt, sino receipt. Receipt. Dilo conmigo. Can I have a receipt? Muy importante, ¿no? Si quieres devolverlo, if you want to return it at some point. So yes, allegedly, siempre allegedly, right? This diner es un restaurante americano, pero diner también es comensal. And this person planted a hair in their dish, en su plato, to dodge a $600 bill. This was in Sydney, Australia. Now, he went in there with a group of people, his accomplices. And the group ordered some very expensive dishes off the menu. I imagine it was a sleek restaurant. They ordered a 2-kilo tomahawk steak, entrees. Entrees es una palabra engañosa porque no es entradas. Entrees es plato principales. You can say entrees or main courses. They also ordered drinks. So they racked up quite a big bill, $600 Australian dollars. And, well, what happened was they noticed on the cameras when they went back, because everything's being recorded these days, that they saw that one of these guys deliberately, that means aposta, planted the hair on his own plate. Now, where did he get this hair? From his armpit. Sobaco, axilia, you say? From his armpit. Okay? That's pretty disgusting anyway. And it's got to hurt, right? You're pulling a hair out of your armpit. It's disgusting. So it was a restaurant called Pony in the Rocks. Okay? And the family was visiting from Ireland. They were Irish. I guess they could tell by the way they spoke. And when they reviewed the CCTV, the closed circuit TV, the footage, the video footage, they showed the man reaching under his armpit, plucking a hair, and placing it on the plate, of course, after having finished his meal. No, ya terminado. Okay, pues no, he plucked it out. And the chef, when he saw it, he goes, I've seen a lot of crazy things in my day, but I've never seen anyone stoop so low. Rebajarse tanto. He says, I've seen all kinds of scams. Scams, timos, right? And so what happened was the guy got very agitated. And he said, we're not paying you anything. We're not giving you any compensation because we've got you on camera. And we're going to warn all the local businesses that you're in town. Que estás por aquí. So you don't try and scam them as well. So then obviously the situation escalated into a hairy situation, pun intended. And the guy was refusing to pay for the bill. And people were saying in the restaurant, oh, no, you're paying. We saw you do it. We caught you. Okay. And then obviously the wife broke down in tears. She said, oh my God. Oh, not what I love is you instantly went from aggressor to victim. How convenient. I love those people. Like, oh, no, now I jump on the floor and I'm a victim. What, well, you were just trying to screw people over. Right. And in fact, the crazy thing that they didn't realize was the guy who plucked the hair was blonde. Guess what? There were no blonde people working in the kitchen. So even if they didn't have it, they say, okay, well, none of us are blonde. You guys are blonde. So they didn't really think it through. No es que se lo han pensado muy bien, right? So what happened was, in the end, the restaurant, they gave in, cedieron. Why? They didn't want to make a scene. But it didn't end there. Then, as I said, they have advised the local restaurants and authorities. So they waived, hemos visto esta palabra, waive es ceder derechos o decir, okay, no hay que pagarlo. They waived the entire bill just to bring the confrontation to an end and not disturb the other diners in the restaurant. And, well, they've put pictures up of these people and they've posted them on social media and they've warned all the other local businesses. Man, that's the worst. Hey, listen, if you don't have money to go out, don't go out. But as much as, you're thinking, okay, it's harmless. Well, no. What if if they do that to that restaurant a lot, then that restaurant doesn't make money, then they have to fire employees. And now you're really starting to affect the local economy, not just one restaurant. So bad idea. All right, folks, we're going to move on, though. It's time for our Wacky World Records.
Wacky World Records. These are the wackiest records in the whole wide world.
That's right, folks. Well, we're going to stay at the restaurant today since we're talking a little bit about restaurants. And I decided to take a look at the world's most expensive dish. Eso es el plato más caro de comida en el mundo. Now, I'll let you guess. What do you think it is? Saffron is up there, azafrán. Well, the world's most expensive food is a caviar called almas caviar. Eso es como sol. Almas caviar. And it is derived from, or it comes from, a rare Iranian, eso es de Irán, albino beluga sturgeon. Okay, so albino, you say the same thing, right? Beluga is a kind of whale. And sturgeon, ¿cómo se dice sturgeon? Bueno, esa no lo sabía, es un tipo de pescado. Sturgeon. Esturión. Ah, okay, I didn't know that. En español, esturión. Sturgeon, we say in English. And usually this fish is around 60 to 100 years old. So right there, that's like, wow. So first, it's got to be an older animal that's been alive for a long time. And take a guess how much 1 kilo of almas caviar will run you. Es otra forma de decir que te costará. I'll tell you in American dollars and I'll tell you in pounds. In pounds, 20,000 pounds for 1 kilo. 20,000 pounds. In American dollars, $34,500 per kilo. And it's typically packaged in 24-karat gold tins. 24-karat, quilate. O sea, ahí tenéis otro homófono. Carat, K-A-R-A-T, suena igual que zanahoria. So si yo te digo, I have a 24-karat carrot, es un homófono y es una forma de acordarte. Ahora, cuidado con la palabra porque no se pronuncia carrot. Lo sé porque siempre nos reímos de mi mujer un poco con esa. Mi hija siempre le dice, mamá, dime que el loro se ha comido una zanahoria. Y mi mujer, the parrot ate a carrot. And then my daughter corrects her and says, Mom, the parrot ate a carrot. Now, I don't know about you folks, but I'm not a big fan of caviar. I've tried caviar before. And at that price, I can tell you, no way, Jose. Not in my life am I going to try that caviar. Even if somebody gave it to me, I think things like that are a bit ridiculous and snobbish, to be honest. I'd rather have a nice slice of pizza or a hamburger. Is anybody else getting hungry? Folks, we've got to hit a quick commercial break. I can't believe it. We are in the final stretch, la recta final. When we come back, we're going to take a look at Double Trouble. Name that movie, name that lyric, and so much more. So, if I were you guys, I wouldn't even think of going anywhere. Stick around. Welcome back, amigos. Welcome back. This is the fourth and final part of today's show with no name here on Vaughn Radio. Thank you so much for joining us here on this program and all our other amazing programs. We promise, we vow, otra forma de prometer, to teach you English every day in the most exciting way possible. That's why we have so many participative sections. They call it gamifying. Convertir todo en un juego. Well, it works. Who doesn't want to play? I like playing. I'm 48. And I'm never going to stop playing. I play with my daughter every day. And you know what? Makes me feel younger. And yes, I play with dolls, con muñecas. You got a problem with that? I don't. It's fun. I get to do all different voices. So play with us here on Vaughn Radio in all of our programs. Download the app, or you can find them on your favorite podcast platform. We're going to kick things off with our first challenge of the fourth part of the show. A challenge where we look at words with double meanings. We've already seen a few today, right? The word slick and the word sleek, right? In our homophone section. Let's see what we've got in store in today's double trouble.
Double trouble, baby. Yeah, you know what time it is. Give it up. Double trouble. I said double trouble. Double trouble. I said double trouble.
That's right, amigos. It is Double Trouble here on the show with no name. And as always, I'm going to give you a challenge where we look at words with double meanings. Now, I don't think this one's going to be too tough. We'll find out by A, how many people participate, and B, how many people get it. All right, so here we go. Esto es la séptima vez que te lo he dicho. Me cuesta decir eso. Esto es la séptima vez que te lo he dicho. Estoy en la gloria. Estoy muy contento. ¿No? Encantadísimo, contentísimo. Estoy en las nubes. That could be another way to say it. Maybe that'll help you out a little bit. So, esto es la séptima vez que te lo he... no me sale esa estructura, ¿eh? Mi lengua no quiere. Vamos a intentar de nuevo. Same thing I tell you. Keep at it. Esto es la séptima vez que te lo he dicho. Estoy en la gloria. Estoy contentísimo. Estoy emocionadísimo. All right? Those are your challenges there. Challenges because you've got to use the same word twice in today's Double Trouble. Good luck. Again, I don't think it's going to be too difficult, but we shall see. Also, I'm going to give you the Say What soundbite now for the fourth time. And hopefully somebody will be able to get it down word for word. Here goes.
Listen, I did everything wrong with us. I should have told you about Chris. And this war with my father has been going on for 4 years, and it's finally out of control.
¿Te gustaría abrir puertas a nuevas oportunidades y estar listo para cualquier desafío? Con el máster de inglés del Grupo Vaughan podrás transformar tu futuro. Intensivo te ayudará a dominar el inglés profesional, perfeccionar tu comunicación y ganar la confianza que necesitas para conseguir tus objetivos. Nuestros profesores Vaughan especializados te prepararán para afrontar en inglés todas las situaciones de comunicación en un entorno profesional. No dejes que el inglés sea una barrera. Invierte en tu futuro con el máster de inglés profesional del Grupo Vaughan. Llámanos al 91-133-5833 o entra en grupovaughan.com.
That's right, folks. If you want more information about our masters or any of our initiatives, you can go to grupovon.com. Also, follow us on social media, and you'll be in the loop. Enterado. All right, let's see over here. Chris says the Spanish omelet is so good. I agree, but you want to know something? My wife thought that I didn't like tortilla and that I didn't like croquettes and the Spanish omelet. And it's the opposite. I like them so much that I won't settle for any one. So, firstly, I never order tortilla unless maybe I've tried it before over at that place. But A, I don't like onion, and then B, it seems like it's, an easy dish, but it isn't. I've had so many tortillas, I said, oh, that was not good. Right? So it's a dish I like so much, I often don't order it unless I know if it's fresh or if I like the way it's made. The same thing with croquettes. A lot of time they're frozen and you're like, oh, this is gross. So I always order. But for many, many years, she thought it wasn't my cup of tea. She goes, pero a ti no te gusta la tortilla. I'm like, I love it. I just never order it at a bar. Unless I've been to the bar, I know how they make it because it feels like something that you either get it right or you don't. And that's the same I feel with croquettes as well. So, oh man, it's a tough one. It's a tough one because also I've got to say my grandmother made awesome Spanish omelets, my mother-in-law, but they're not around anymore. So I'm waiting for that next omelet that I fall in love with. So that's one of those dishes that I say easier said than done. Because if you think about it, like potatoes, olive oil, and eggs. Yeah. Okay. But I've had a lot of tortillas where I was like, that was not enjoyable. So yes, though. I imagine, Chris, you if you like them so much, it's because you probably know how to make them. And then there's that age-old debate, el debate milenario, with onions or without onions. I know my answer, but everybody's different. Different strokes for different folks. All right, let's take a look at our Double Trouble Challenge over here. Born to Iron Man's the first one to take a stab at it. And he says, this is the 7th time I've told you. I'm in 7th heaven. Absolutely. This is the 7th time I've told you. La séptima vez que te lo he dicho. And we say, I'm in 7th heaven. Y muy bien, porque el error que he visto cuando gente usa esta expresión es meterle el artículo definido, el the, pero no lo has metido. So great job. You don't know, because one thing is being familiar with it, and another thing is using it correctly, and you did both. So great. This is the 7th time I've told you. I'm in 7th heaven. Okay, sin artículo, sin nada. Lo mismo tenemos otra que es I'm on cloud 9. To be on cloud 9, to be in 7th heaven, or to be over the moon. Otra forma de decirlo también. So excellent job. Born to Iron Man. Let's see, Chris. Chris says, this is the 7th time I've told you this. I'm in 7th heaven. Yes, my superstars never let me down. Let's see. Born to Iron Man says, heaven, I'm in heaven. I'm in 7th heaven now. 7th Heaven by Deep Purple. Oh, cool. I've got to be honest with you. I've never really listened to Deep Purple too much. I'm not saying I don't like them, but I never got into them as much as, like Pink Floyd or The Doors or, other bands from that time period. But great. It's great, Born to Iron Man, that you have recognized that expression from music. There's even a show, there was, not anymore, but there was a show called 7th Heaven, which was on TV, at least in the United States, from 1996 to 2007. And I think it starred Jessica Biel. I got to be honest, I've never seen the show, but I do remember seeing commercials for it, los anuncios, when I was a little kid. Today on Seventh Heaven, right? And I don't know if it was very popular here. The good thing, Jessica Biel is still popular, right? She's I think she's a wonderful actress as well. But I never saw her in Seventh Heaven. But if you've ever seen the show, well, then now you know what the title of that show means. All right, but it's not time to look at a show right now. We're going to look at a movie. Name that movie. That's right, amigos. Welcome to Name That Movie here on the show with no name. Here we go, amigos. Lorenzo Odone, a Virginia 5-year-old, develops a degenerative nerve disease so rare that nobody is working on a cure. So his parents decide to immerse themselves in research and tackle the problem themselves. Let's see. Chris Valrol. She's got today's Say What soundbite. Great. And she says, the father thing doesn't quite add up for me. Well, it's and. So no está vinculado, right? O sea, está diciendo and. So hemos tenido nuestro problema y lo de mi padre, right? So, yeah, es añadido. Es como si te digo, se me ha roto el coche y tengo una cita en 20 minutos. Y pues me voy a duchar ahora, right? So it's in just adding on insult to injury, right? I think she's talking about some of the regrets she's had, as you said before, the ruse. So, all right, let's see. Also, Chris got today's Name That Movie. Nice job. Very slick. Me has pillado, ¿eh? Slick. Muy habilidosa. Slick. También es aceite. Aceitoso. Yeah, the movie's called Lorenzo's Oil. El aceite de Lorenzo. I imagine in Spanish it's not called that. Well, I'm not sure, but let's go over the synopsis. Lorenzo Odone, a Virginia 5-year-old, un chaval de 5 años de Virginia, develops, desarrolla, contrata, no es contratar, we say to contract a disease. Well, gets, ¿no? Obtiene a degenerative nerve disease. So rare, tan poco habitual, that nobody is working on a cure. So his parents decide to immerse themselves in research and tackle the problem themselves. To tackle, enfrentar, ¿no? El problema. All right, let's take a look at this movie called Lorenzo's Oil. It's a movie that came out in the year 1992, and it stars Nick Nolte and Susan Sarandon. Great actors in this movie. I've got to say, I've never seen it, but I remember it was pretty tough. Yeah, it was pretty tough. All right, so Michaela, which is how you would, if a girl's name, you want to name her Michael, well, Michaela would be the female version of Michael, you know, like Fernando and Fernanda in Spanish. And she says, the life of one boy is not enough reward for you to risk the reputation of the institution and the esteem of your peers. Okay, so reward, recompensa, to risk, arriesgar, the reputation, no es reputation, sino reputation, and the esteem of your peers. And your peers son tus iguales, your peers. We've looked at that word before. And then the professor says, that was uncalled for. Now, uncalled for, this is a great one porque siempre va con el for después. If something is uncalled for, it means that it is impertinente, fuera de lugar, right? Innecesario. That reaction was uncalled for. So uncalled, una palabra, for la otra palabra. Y se usa bastante, este adjetivo. That was uncalled for. You take that back. Retoma esas palabras que dijiste. And then the professor says, your responsibility is meramente, you say, I believe, towards, se pronuncia towards your own child. Tu responsabilidad es hacia tu hijo. My responsibility is towards all the boys that suffer from this disease, now and in the future. Of course, I anguish for the suffering of your boy. And anguish. Vamos a ver cómo lo traducen. Anguish, angustia, bueno, angustiarse. Mira, nunca lo he pensado, fíjate. Angustiarse, anguish, es igual. O sea, básicamente igual. Angustia. Now, am I right here? There's actually a name in Spanish. Angustias? Isn't that a name? Like dolores? Pain, distress, anguish. Oh my God. these are tough names here. So, of course, I anguish for the suffering, el sufrimiento of your boy. And of course, I applaud you for the efforts you make on his behalf, en su nombre. But I will have nothing to do with this oil. No tendré nada que ver con este aceite, right? Which is supposedly the cure. And then Micaela says, we are not asking, doctor, for your anguish or your applause. No estamos aquí pidiéndote tu angustia ni tu aplausa. We are asking merely, ahí está otra vez, merely, for a little courage. And the word courage, otra palabra con el age este que es edge. Courage, valentía. All right? Cuidado, no es courage, sino, vamos a decirlo todos juntos, courage. Courage. All right, folks, that was Lorenzo's oil. But now we've got a party to get to. It's famous birthday trivia.
Expression: an upward or a downward trend. This week we were describing graphs in English. Professionals don't just say sales go up, they say there's an upward trend. For example, there's an upward trend in sales this quarter, or we're seeing a downward trend in profits. These expressions are essential for clear business communication. Understanding this helps professionals prepare better and feel more confident. Exactly what we work on in the Executive Master.
That's right, folks. Our master's program. All right, let's take a look at what we've got here. Number one in our famous birthdays. She's an American singer, songwriter, and producer, and she has won 2 Grammy Awards, one of them for a duet she did with Joe Cocker in 1983. Lord, lift us up where we belong. Beautiful song. Up Where We Belong. Also in 1987, she did a duet with Bill Medley, and you might recognize it from a very popular movie. Now I had the time of my life, and I never felt like this before. Yes, I swear it's the truth, and I owe it all to you. Awesome songs, both of those. Up next, we've got an Australian director, producer, and screenwriter born today in 1945, and he created and directed every film in the Mad Max franchise. That's right, Mad Max. He also did The Witches of Eastwick. He did Lorenzo's Oil. That's right. Today's named that movie. Babe, the one about the pig. Also, Happy Feet and Happy Feet 2. So, a very well known director. And last but not least, this American actress, singer, and producer was born today in 1982. She played Mary Camden in the drama series Seventh Heaven. Wait, her? Yeah. She was also in The Sinner more recently, which was a great one. Have you guys seen The Sinner? It's a really good series. And I don't have time to see too many series, but she was in Blade Trinity, The Illusionist, The A-Team, Total Recall, Hitchcock, and so much more. Very, very talented actress and producer. And speaking of talented, give it up for Chris Varrol. Number 1, Jennifer Warnes. Number 2, George Miller. And number 3, Jessica Biel. That's right. And that's going to bring us right over to our Say What soundbite. This is Jessica Biel in the movie Summer Catch. Okay, Summer Catch, braguetazo de verano, pero es una película de béisbol, entonces también es catch, pillarlo al aire, tiene doble significado. And she's apologizing. She's obviously feeling a bit regretful. And she says, listen, I did everything wrong with us. La cagué muy bien en todos los sentidos con nosotros. I should have told you about Chris. Te tenía que haber contado sobre Chris. So I imagine she was being unfaithful. I've never seen the movie, but just putting it into context. And this war with my father, y esta guerra con mi padre, has been going on for 4 years. Lleva 4 años esta guerra con mi padre. And it's finally out of control. Ahora, dice. So it seems like this person's relationships and lives, relationships and life, I should say, because it's her life, is crumbling around her. Se está desmigando, desmoroneando. Is that how you say it? A su alrededor. Well, here she is, very talented actress, very slick actress, Jessica Biel.
Listen, I did everything wrong with us. I should have told you about Chris. And this war with my father has been going on for 4 years, and it's finally out of control.
All right, my amigos, we've reached the end of today's show. But you know, we're going to say goodbye with an awesome song. I just sang it to you moments ago, so I want everybody to sing it with me. You know it. It's from Dirty Dancing, no dirty, sino Dirty Dancing. And it's I had the time of my life. And I hope you did have the time of your life on today's show. And I hope you'll join us tomorrow as well. And then they say, I never felt like this before. Yes, I swear. Yo juro, it's the truth. Es la verdad. And I owe it all to you. Y lo debo todo a ti. 'Cause I had the time of my life. And I'm going to be honest with you here about something. I have never seen the movie Dirty Dancing. However, I love every song from it. I love the soundtrack. Hungry eyes wanna look at you when I give the skies I've got. Hungry eyes. I guess because when I grew up, these were on the radio. You know, these were popular songs. And then also Patrick Swayze, didn't he have a song, She's Like the Wind? Was that from Dirty Dancing? Ahora me dudo. Let's see. She's Like the Wind. Yes. You're out of my league. No estás en mi liga. Just a fool to believe I am. Yes, from Dirty Dancing. She's Like the Wind. So it's incredible that you can, not know a movie, not one line in the movie, but I know every single song. Well, folks, I hope you did have the time of your life, and I hope you'll join us mañana para más. Sing it. Hey, the time of my life. I never felt like this before. You, 'cause I swear it's